Not only that, I would like to explain that when companies or businesses open, sometimes their product is more expensive because they just opened and they
Exactly.
haven't been established. Now, if we keep buying from them and keep
Yes.
the supply, and they keep the supply, prices will then go down.
Right. Exactly. And that is another thing. You have to think small businesses cannot compete with Walmart and Target and Costco. They can't. They don't have the capital to go and say, "Oh, let's get 100 of this, or even 1,000 of it." You know, if you get 1,000, you get a good deal off of it. On the business end, you get a good deal off of it from of your product or whatever you're selling. You know, say I'm selling bottles. I'm selling cups. Oops, I'm selling cups. Now, Walmart can order 10,000 of these
Mm-hmm.
and can sell them for $2,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I can only get 50 of them. And if I get 50 of them, they actually cost $8. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I do kind of, I have to charge $12 for it,
Yep.
you know? And so that's where I'm saying loyalty to the race, because Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, in his book that I mentioned, he speaks on loyalty, like loyalty to each other over a discount.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you're going to spend that $2, $3,
Yep.
that
And
$6.
hopefully, the quality of it is going to outweigh the large businesses.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of times we're looking for cheap stuff, and it's like, well, we're always, then you have to think about that too, like, ooh, if it's cheap, I'm gonna get it, I'm just gonna get it because it don't cost that much. And then that's a psychosis thing on our a psychological thing for ourselves, to think, why do I feel like I only need to get the cheap stuff?
Right.
Why do I only need to get, oh, it don't cost that much, so I can get it, it's justified for me to get it. Nah, like, if I want the $500 thing, or that $500 $600 thing, we have to, like, remind ourselves, like, hey, I do it for my own self. I bring myself out of, like, ooh, $600, but if I really want it, I'm really going to use it, and I love it, you deserve it. We deserve nice stuff.
That's why you work, right?
Right. Right. I think that when we think of our communities supporting Black businesses, now it's just been this super big spark of, let's do this, let's support Black businesses, because of so many things that are just happening in 2020, the unveiling of things. I love it personally. I'm like, this is good stuff. 2020 has been really good to me. It's been a blessing, honestly. Light and love to everyone that it hasn't been great to, but I feel like when you're in a certain level of alignment with just everything around you, you see gratitude in everything. And so I understand that our people haven't been able to sit still just to feel gratitude, to sit still and just be like, "Ooh, that was nice," or to do things like, it's crazy. I think on a cycle, on our mindset level, we've got to undo a lot of things on why we limit ourselves. Of course, the cards have been stacked against us, but I feel really, strong about saying have been. And I won't say that all the cards are down, but we knocking them down. Every generation, we do a little bit more. Every generation is taking a little less shit. So it's like we're in the process of becoming better and more awesome and more amazing, knowingly, because we always been bombed, we always been popping, like, this whole thing, y'all ain't got none of this without us. So we've been done it, and our history as quote unquote enslaved people, or in this phase of existence and history, is like this big, is so minuscule compared to our true history, like way before, way a long time ago. We think of ancient Kemet, or ancient African places, or even the indigenous people of America, because, like I said, a lot of us are indigenous. So even the people that our feet have been on this soil for way longer than before any Euro stepped on it, way before. And our history, actually prior to that, there apparently had been I read about it, a 100-year peace that existed prior to
Between who?
everything. Between the natives, between all the tribes that were here in America, there was 100-year peace. That there was no anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So we can get back there. I don't know when that is, maybe when I'm like 80. I don't know. I just know that I want to be like a beacon of light to like guide us to know like we don't have to live impoverished. We can create it for ourselves. I feel like with integration, our ancestors, for many reasons, I felt really wanted to be accepted into white culture. If you think of before this time, they had only known being enslaved people, so it's kind of hard to break free from massa in a way. And so, I mean, this is just my theory. I'm thankful for everything our ancestors have done for us. But when we were kind of begging to be a part of this, even Martin Luther King said he feared that he integrated his people into a burning house. When we got up in here and we saw actually this kind of sucks too. But at the same time, our mindset was, oh, well, now I can go into Mr. Walker's bathrooms. Now I can go into their business and I can sit at their chairs. And now our mindset is it's better than what we already had and what we already are. Like I said, we're bomb already. Everybody wants to be us. And if they're not, they're hating. But it's literally, we are good. We are good enough. We were made good. We are the original people of this world, of this planet. And it's literally our time to just step up. Even the stars are even saying it. It's the age of Aquarius, guys.
So what do you think it's going to take for our brands to last? We've had several clothing lines. They come and go. Purse lines, they come and go.
Mm-hmm.
We know other designers and or cultures, their stuff is lasting.
Oh, yeah.
We participate in it lasting.
Oh, yeah.
What does it take for our community, the African American community, to stay stuck on what we do so it lasts as well?
I think that this time around, there's been so much stuff before. Like I said, we are really, every generation's taking less shit. Every generation is more hip to how amazing we are as well. And so in our past, I feel like FUBU was just ahead of the game. They foresaw stuff before we could see it. And a lot of times they even say that about inventors or, they always say somebody was crazy because nobody else recognized, right?
The vision.
So, exactly. So now I feel like our brands are rising up. And it's going to have to be from a grassroots level. Thank God for the internet, honestly, because the media isn't going to give it to us. The media don't benefit from that. It's, an ad is a few couple $1,000 for, Super Bowl so everybody can see it. That collateral we don't necessarily have until we do some group economics. We could all get behind a brand and say, hey, we want to get this brand on a Super Bowl channel, on a Super Bowl next year. We're all going to put in to get $50,000 to get that commercial so that the whole world can see it, or so that all of America can see it. They don't have to know it's a Black-owned business.
That's what they do. That's what we have.
Exactly. It's called use other people's money. OPM. And everybody, oh yeah, and other people, and they do it all the time. They use their friends and their family, and that one guy who has a lot of money use some of his money, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna bring something with it.
Yeah.
We, like you guys said, when we talk about that trust, do we really trust that somebody can do it? Somebody that I know, somebody that looked like me, that grew up in my neighborhood, I don't know if they can do it. I don't trust it. Just give them your $10 and let's go. We have to have that mindset of like, we got to do it together. That African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We have to adapt that in our thinking. Like, and even for businesses, our businesses may struggle having certain things, having products. You know, the community complains like, man, this chicken over here is just too much. Okay, well, if this restaurant who sells chicken and that restaurant who sells chicken and that one across town and that one, all y'all selling chicken, y'all can do your order together. They ain't got your recipe and they don't want to eat over there every day. So may as well buy it together. That's group economics in action. But we have this false competition. Dr. Claud Anderson talks about virtual integration. And so there's a
what is that? What is that?
Vertical integration. Yes. And so it is basically, actually Jay-Z talks about it too in that entrepreneur song with Pharrell. Vertical, it basically means that we work together as we head up this chain. As we go up the chain, we do everything together. And then once we're at the top, then we can compete amongst the upper level. But if we're at the bottom and we're always competing at the bottom, you don't have any pressure to elevate you. But if you build that pressure from the bottom up and you work together all the way to the top, we always rocking together. All of our businesses are together. That's what vertical integration is, from the bottom up together. So y'all check that out. I'm telling you, Dr. Claud Anderson, Powernomics, that book. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Oh yeah. So we've got the power, y'all. They talk about how everything is changing over. For a hot second, I was concerned, like, oh man, they're talking about cryptocurrency. How am I going to survive? And then I was like, hold on. I am Black and gifted. So young, gifted, and Black. Yes. I'm like, you can pay me and whatever I tell you, pay me in. We build up our value. We have to know, like, yo, we have so much. Everybody want the sauce.
And we all can get the sauce.
And we can all get the sauce. And we all have our own recipes. But you find you a sous chef and a prep cook, and we can do something with this one. We can do something with that one. Like, there's no competition between us. And when we realize that we're not really, we don't need to be in competition. You look at anywhere else, you go to Chinatown, it's 40, you go to the one right here in Las Vegas, it's like 40 pho places on Spring Mountain. Okay, and I've gone to a couple of them. I love pho. I love Chinatown too. Anyway, you got all of these right here, and they all probably, you look at their back kitchens, they share the kitchen. It's 5 restaurants side by side. It's one big kitchen in the back. That is group economics in action. There's nothing wrong with us that we can't do it too, except for our ego, because our ego has been hurt. We've been stepped on. And when, like I said, when you're in a place of, like survival, sometimes you think that the true story is survival of the fittest, but that's not it. Because no man is an island. And so we have to group it together, like-minded people, remembering that all skin folk ain't kinfolk, but you get to the ones that you know are like ride or die people. Upward.
I like that. My question, and it has to do with, I guess, Black economics, but I guess it's going to have to do with the economics period. What are you thinking with the brick and mortar? And I don't know, I feel like it's going to be a thing of the past. What do you think?
I think it could be, right? But then I also think it is. Yes, everybody wants to, I think COVID has made us a little different though. Like, yes, the brick and mortars are skimming down for sure. But if I'm thinking of things to do, people want to be connected. They want to be, have a place to go. Like COVID had people not hugging forever. I mean, people still don't hug like that now. So it's like people are begging for interaction. So I think that we can always still have businesses. We just have to shift how we, what is it that it is? Like, yeah, stuff is digital and everything like that, but we're still human beings and you can't fight nature. Like at the end of the day, we need companionship. We need to be around each other and to experience each other. Like life is boring without stuff to do. Like it is. So yeah, I definitely feel like the brick and mortars are possibly going out of style. But I also just see that as the big businesses. Like, yeah, nobody wants to rock with Macy's like that or whoever. Amazon's taking over. But once again, it's up to us to make sure that doesn't happen to us. There's a thing, I think it's in Dr. Claud Anderson and in Jawanza Kunjufu's book. And honestly, you can find it on Google, but it talks about how many times the Black dollar circulates in the Black community over other places. And our dollar don't stay in the community 2 hours.
Wow.
When you got, like, you looking at 600, 400 days, 300 days in some other communities.
Wow.
Like, you mean to tell me they didn't spend $1, a dime, or a red cent nowhere but with they people for a year? There's nothing different about others than us,
Right.
except our story, you know. And everybody's also been through stuff. Everybody's, you know, dealt with things, but not quite as long and not as intensive. And the actual after systemic things, like I said about the redlining and Jim Crow post-slavery era, those things were the extra things that makes it even harder on us. But at the same time, we're the most resilient, powerful people on the planet. Like, if the fact that we're still here shows like we can do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Whatever we want to do.
And a lot of things that we've created are trendy. Our culture is trendy. We set trends. That's fact.
We do. Everybody want to be us.
Right. But they don't want the struggle. They want.
Right. And that's the thing where it's like, okay, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about TikTok, but I hate TikTok. It's just that all of the music is our old music, our music, TikTokerized, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, this is trash, you know? So I think we have to make sure that we are capitalizing off of our own culture, because everyone else does it. Everybody, they do the second rate version of us. It's like, if I can get real Jordans, why would I get the fake ones? Same thing with us and our culture.
Right.
If I can really get the true essence of all the awesomeness that comes with being who we are, why would I go with the secondhand, the knockoff?
How do we do that? What does that look like?
It's in the mind. It comes with educating ourselves. Like I said, we have to know our history. We have to know where we come from. We have to talk to our grandparents. Like, my grandma's 80 something, like 80. She's about to be 84, I think, on the 4th of November. Wow. Shout out to Grandma. Hey, girl. She is, I know that she's lived through a lot of stuff. Like, lived through Jim Crow. My sweet grandmama lived through that. So she knows what it was like to support Black businesses, because that was the only businesses that would support her or that she could get her stuff from, you know, for the most part. She knows what it is to have the neighborhood as a village. Like, we have to relearn stuff from our elders before they're gone, because we're trying to figure out stuff that's already been figured out.
Yep.
You know,
We definitely.
you look at the homeschooling thing right now, and I don't have any children, but I'm everybody's auntie. But I do know that it's a struggle for people that feel like, oh, well, I don't have any money to pay somebody to teach my child at home and or to be there, do this and that. I'm like, well, what about rotating shifts? Like, why don't we all just get all the kids that need, you know, in our circle? Okay, I'm off on Thursdays. I got the kids on Thursdays. It don't have to cost nothing. We've monetized everything.
Yep.
Everything has a price on it. And we're allowing capitalism to basically dissect our souls and take out the part that is compassionate and is graceful. Like, what you gonna do with them $18 from each kid for this week? Like, I mean, yes, everybody's got bills, but if our kids aren't educated, then what? I actually kind of like the homeschooling thing. I know if I ever have kids, I do intend to homeschool them, because Malcolm X said we can't let the enemy educate our children. So it's like, it's literally a thing. So I know, but I can. If you're a single parent, what does that look like? Right. That's creating the community. We have to try. Like, you can't just say, oh, this ain't there. Okay, make it, create it.
make it.
There's no, I think that we've been conditioned, like I said, as people over time, that our minds are in this box that, oh, well, if it's not here, then I can't possibly do nothing else.
Right.
I can't possibly come to everybody and say, hey, y'all, let's get all the kids up for this or that. We do it for anything else. Y'all have birthday parties all the time.
Right.
So why we can't do this on a weekly basis, that such and such gets the kids on Thursdays, Fridays, and I got them on Mondays and Saturdays? You know, like, we have these problems that we don't necessarily need to have problems for, because in the past we had community. We cared about each other. We valued each other. We knew that we were all we got. And then some of us get a little check, get a little cash, and it's like, oh, I don't know about those Negroes over there, but me and my folks, we're straight. And it's like, well, Keisha needs some help too. Help her.
Right.
Just help her. If you don't help her, her kid's gonna grow up a latchkey kid, had to raise themselves on the street, and then they're gonna rob your daughter when she's 21. Why would you do that? Everything is a process, is a cycle. We are living life every day, and life continues on. Where we go, it's gonna keep going. There'll still be this thing. The sun is gonna rise until it explodes. I'm kidding, but it's always gonna be. So we just have to find our love, educate ourselves and our children, talk to our elders, and hopefully our elders want to talk to us. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, I thought my grandfather was the meanest, hatefulest man ever. He would turn the TV when he came home. I was watching my cartoons and he'd get in there, he'd sit down, turn the TV. He don't even look at me. And I'm like, dang. And then when I learned my history, I could understand, like, my grandfather probably had a really hard life. He really probably had to go through a lot of stuff. He probably got basically spat on every day of his life trying to make a living so that my grandmother and their 6 kids could live and survive. So if he came home and he wanted to watch the TV, I can let that go within my young child self, because I get it now. I learned his story. We have to remember that her story is our story. History is our story before us. So if we don't really learn the truth, though, we won't find our value. We won't have the compassion that we need to have to heal our relationships with our parents, heal the relationship with their parents, you know, because stress is the number one killer. Stress rips families apart, and usually monetary. So when you poor and it ain't no money, of course there's stress. Of course you got an attitude. Of course, like, and we have to have that compassion for one another. We have to have that grace. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Love, compassion, grace, and then some do right. That's the other thing. We got to do better and know that we can do better, because if I'm just sitting here letting stuff be how it is because it's like that, then what are we doing? You may as well live this life. We all die in the end. We literally all die. So do you really want to sit there and just every day of your life, you sit on the same stoop, feeling sorry for yourself, miserable, making everybody else around you miserable, feeling hopeless, feeling helpless? Or do you want to educate yourself, get that knowledge of, like, damn, my people are popping people, and that's in my blood, that we are, that's DNA. Like, you can't be nothing but great, especially when you know better. So do better now. Yep. So it's literally a part of us taking that responsibility as people of the diaspora, involuntary diaspora. We gotta, the diaspora is, it's basically anybody can be a diaspora. Say you're from India and you move somewhere else, you're part of the Indian diaspora because you moved away. Okay. In Africa, you know, if you come from any place in Africa, you're part of the diaspora. But I would say that descendants of enslaved people, we would be considered diaspora, but involuntarily. Like, I'm here, but I didn't necessarily choose this route.
Okay.
But yeah, we're all we got. Yes. Compassion, love, and action. And try it. And don't be scared to fail.
Yep.
The president filed bankruptcy how many times? Failed a couple times. It's okay.
He still failed.
Right. We all died. You may as well try it and fail. Try it and mess up. You need to get a little idea on how you can get it right.
Dr. Yancey, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm just enjoying this conversation.
Yeah.
Me
We're gonna
too.
have
This
to
is
have
fun.
you on again. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm
My
definitely
pleasure.
gonna check out some more tea and tonic.
Yes.
Can I also add that you are a massager?
Oh yeah, yeah. By trade, I'm a massage therapist.
Yes.
I'm a healer. Um, yeah. So the Richest Touch is my massage practice. So if you're ever in Vegas and you want to receive true therapeutic massage that really actually makes you feel better, and it's real deal Holyfield type of stuff,
It
hit
is.
me up. TheRichestTouch.com.
All right. So that's it for this session. For next week, we're going to have Demetra Saunders on, and she's a young lady that I went to school with, and she just beat breast cancer's ass. So she's going to come on my show, come on the podcast, and let us know, her journey through this, and hopefully that if somebody that's newly diagnosed with breast cancer or any cancer can get something out of this from her. So until next time, be the change you desire. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Say Nini.